Welcome back. We're bringing you a closer look at what life is like back home for some of the recent presidents of NCBA. Now, let's take a trip back in time to 2015 and the profile of that year's president from Wyoming, Philip Ellis.
Nestled in the Bear Creek Valley of southeastern Wyoming sits the Marsh and Ellis Ranch. Today, Philip Ellis heads the ranch, which is a family business that dates back to the late 1800s.
I'm a fifth-generation rancher. The sixth generation ranching is working into the ranch with me, and the seventh generation they're on the ground and running with grandsons and grandnephews. My family were in here very early. This area of southeast Wyoming in the 1870s, they discovered that the shortgrass prairie was a high-quality grass and that cattle could thrive here. My great-grandfather came here as a teenager from Iowa, and he came to one of the big operations that had just built a big house in this valley, and within a few years he was an open-range cowboy for that operation.
Chugwater, Wyoming is just 45 miles north of Cheyenne, and while the high-quality grasses are ideal for raising cattle, the harsh winter weather can be tough on the cattlemen and the livestock.
So by the 1889, my teenage great-grandfather and a teenage gal had married and established their own operation. And they got that opportunity because the blizzards of 86 and 87 took out the large cattle barons' herds. They didn't understand that there could be harsh winters here.
Through the years, the Marsh and Ellis Ranch has adapted to meet the changing needs of the beef industry. What was originally a registered Hereford operation has evolved into a commercial Red Angus Hereford outfit. The crossbreds thrive in the harsh conditions and still produce high-quality beef.
About 30 years ago, when I came back and worked in and took over the operation, we changed and started crossbreeding with Red Angus. I think the Hereford's hardiness was famous in this area, for our winters can be harsh and the wind can be harsh. And the Red Angus for the growth factor and the meat quality, cutability added into the Hereford makes a real good cross for this area. We've been really happy with those cattle. Our operation today is a commercial cow yearling operation. We calve cows and then we carry the calves over another season.
Growing up, Philip's family taught him the importance of being a member of state and national livestock associations, a lesson that primed his desire to serve the beef industry.
There are records going back to the 1940s of membership in the associations that have become the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. We've always felt it's just very important because we're out here doing our work, but we realize that government, both state and national, that we need to join together with other ranchers to have a voice.
Philip began volunteering in the cattle industry more than 30 years ago with the Laramie County Stock Growers Association. This local beginning launched a career of industry service, and since then he's held a variety of roles at both the state and national levels. A notable leader, no doubt, Philip says his love for the cattle industry drives him to continue volunteering for the greater good.
And following my family's example, I got involved at the state level. And so it is important for me to be there and to lend my voice and things I can do to help the beef industry. When you enjoy and are passionate about the industry, they say you'll never work a day in your life. And I think this is an industry one can be passionate about. And one thing I love about involvement in NCBA is that as I travel across the country and I speak and meet with and visit with cattle people, agricultural people, I'm always home. When I'm with beef cattle people, I'm always home.
As he travels the country, Philip finds taxes are a concern for farmers and ranchers. Tax burdens can cripple cattle operations in the present, but also for years to come. Philip knows the value of planning for generational transfer on his own ranch, and one of his goals as NCBA president is to establish long-term tax solutions for cattle producers.
We have done a lot of transition planning, given the realities of the estate tax and having to plan for that. Like all ranchers, we have a land base, cattle base here, but as far as capital, our outfit would never been able to withstand an estate tax. So we've done extensive planning with the generations to handle that. Part of that has been an understanding that the assets, if the ranch is going to continue, need to make a plan for them to go to the people that are on the ranch. Our role is to really support those family members that are ranching, and that has been successful through 3 generations so far.
Policy work, educational outreach, and promotion all play a role in the success of the beef industry. Philip says each of these areas are critical for NCBA to work in to correct consumer misconceptions about beef production and to fight against regulatory overreach.
We're constantly challenged by government regulations, and we talk a lot about that. We need to have our voice out there to explain what we do on our ranches. Those of us in production agriculture are a minority of the population now, and there are so many people involved at the government level, and we need to explain what we do and make those regulations work for us. I think one of the big challenges we have is to understand and communicate with those who are critical of the beef cattle industry and agricultural in general, whether it's those that are critical in the policy process or those that are critical in our markets and in the foods and retail sector. If we can understand them and communicate our product, the value of our product, the healthiness of the beef product, and the good work that we do out here on our ranches.
As Philip Ellis takes the reins as president of NCBA, he notes global trade is also an area of focus. He believes beef is the best protein not only for Americans, but for consumers worldwide.
96% of our population live outside the U.S., and as their protein needs grow, we want to be there to supply them and actually provide us opportunity on our ranches to continue to expand, grow incomes and improve our markets. The demand for our beef is there. We just need to work to provide access, and that's one thing NCBA is working hard and can do for the individual producer. We are deeply involved right now in the trade issue, and we have been for many years, but I look forward to some opportunities that are on the table right now to expand that. And I am passionate about beef being the best protein that we can supply, not only here domestically, but globally. I talk often about the rightness of our industry, and I think we are right. We have the best protein, and we have a protein that we raise in a renewable manner. That's the best thing that can happen to this grasslands here on my ranch, is for cattle to graze that grass. And while we're doing that, we're providing protein to the world.